Hello and welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. His name is Lawrence Thomas, I see. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Shut the fuck up, Lawrence, and tell us what this silly little podcast is all about, please.
Nathan, this is the show where we get together every week and we discuss something in the realm of pop culture. It could be a movie, could even be a TV show, it could be a video game. But the main thing is that we do so without any of the toxic discourse that is oh so prevalent these days. How are you? You're a sleepy boy.
Oh, Lawrence, it feels good to be back in the Still Got Legs studio. Another fucking fuck. I'm literally one fucking job. Hello, we're here.
Another happy pod, if you're looking for the name.
Yeah, another happy pod. You, fun fact, fun peek behind the curtain, you had to ring me to wake me up to start this episode. So
it's normally very unlike you that I don't have a Zoom link waiting for me by the time I get to my desk. So I thought,
because you are a horrible person and are late for pretty much everything. If we need to schedule something at 9, usually I might as well tell you be there at fucking 7:30. That's how bad you are for things. So, but in this case, it was my fault. I fell asleep and I apologize.
It's very vindicating when for once it isn't me, I must say.
I hate being late to stuff. And
are you let down in yourself?
Well, yeah, but mostly I just feel like I need to go to bed. But hey, you know what? We're here, we're queer, and we're gonna talk about General Viers. I wanted to make that work so bad, but General Viers isn't even in this fucking movie. But you know what, Lawrence? I don't care.
What?
So,
okay,
why don't you stop me from rambling and say something else?
Okay, I can do. Nathan, we are... This is a big one for us. We're talking about Is this your favourite movie trilogy?
No.
No? What is?
Oh, no, I don't know.
I thought that was a clear shot and win. Go on, what is then?
Oh, I don't know, because if it was my favourite movie trilogy... I don't like ranking things. You know this about me. Because it doesn't make sense to me to do that. And when I think about the Star Wars movies and how I rank them in my head, first of all, that ranking can change hourly. Okay, so,
yeah.
So that's disastrous. First of all, but then they're all in different places, and sometimes I like the original trilogy more, sometimes I like the sequel trilogy more, sometimes I like the prequel trilogy more. It can change depending on when you speak to me. So I don't know. I don't know.
This kickstarted the love, surely. This had to have been the first Star Wars you've seen, or from this trilogy.
Technically, it almost certainly was the first Star Wars I've seen, because my dad had the VHS trilogy of the original trilogy, the special edition trilogy. That's how I first watched and fell in love with these movies. Almost certainly would have watched them in order, so kicked off with this one. But as a kid, I remember specifically, I didn't actually... We're doing Star Wars, by the way. Hello, Star Wars original
yeah,
trilogy,
we're already in.
A New Hope. I remember I didn't like watching this movie because it scared me, okay? For two very specific scenes, okay?
All right, yeah.
First of all, spoiler alert, but the Skellingtons on Tatooine, on Luke's uncle and aunt, okay?
Yeah.
That scene always creeped me the fuck out. I hated just the sight of that Skellington just face down in the fucking sand and the smoking corpse and everything like that. It freaked me the fuck out, and I hated it. And then also the Dianoga on the Death Star and the trash compactor. Hated whatever the fuck that slimy little cunt was as well.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
So I didn't watch it. My favourite was always Return of the Jedi, and still is my favourite of the original trilogy. But that was the one I remember watching the most. But this one, it was spooky, and I was like, no, I don't like that weird, scary movie.
Yeah.
So
it's surprising, the skeleton face down in the sand, just charred and still smoking, is pretty full on for a
We can
PG.
talk about it. We'll talk about it.
All right, general thoughts on this movie up top. Like, it's safe to say we both really, really, really like it, surely.
Show you're working.
The stars have aligned for this to exist, I think.
All right,
this
what
movie
stars?
as a whole. The stars in that, like...
James Earl Jones,
That, but
Mark
like...
Hamill,
Yeah, and that too. Go on, keep naming them.
Carrie Fisher,
That one too.
Harrison Ford,
Yes.
Peter Mayhew,
Yes.
Peter Cushing,
Yes.
Sir Alec Guinness,
Yes.
others.
He's run out. David Prowse, Nathan.
Nah.
Oh, no, come on. He's there and he makes a contribution. You can see his eyes. I didn't know this. You can see his eyes quite clearly in some of the shots.
Can you?
Yeah, in a lot of the stuff where he's in the TIE fighter in the end, you can see like his lenses are kind of tinted red for some reason because it's like the OG Darth Vader suit before they got more money.
It's always tinted red.
It's not tinted red in the other ones, is it?
A little bit. Not as much. It's more shiny than the other ones.
Yeah, well, that's because it is newer and not as old and shitted. Yeah. No, look, the reason I say the stars have aligned is because like this movie, it shouldn't have spawned the franchise that is still going like 50 plus years later. Like,
Yeah.
it was thrown together. Pretty much everyone making it, although they put like blood, sweat, and tears into it, was thinking that it was just going to fail or kill them in the process of making it from stress.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of them things where like tight deadlines, no money. It's ambitious and it's unorthodox. Is my point. Like it's a real strange movie that feels like definitely a product of its time, but also way ahead of its time. Like when you watch it now, like scenes go on for a lot longer than they do in like the sequel trilogy, but at the same time, it moves way quicker than a movie in the late 70s used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, but anyway, what I was saying about the names and stuff, this is like kind of everyone that worked on this is now the poster person for their industry. Like Phil Tippett, stop motion, and I'm pretty sure he was mainly just kind of starting out with this film. James Earl Jones then is now like one of the most famous vocal presences ever.
Yeah.
Obviously, George Lucas became fucking George Lucas. How big was John Williams at the time of this?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure he was established. It's not like they just got this. Hey, there's this new up and coming kid in the world of composing. I reckon we take a chance on this John Williams guy. You know, like
just someone busking on the street, like,
Yeah.
but not even playing an instrument, just waving two sticks around. And they were
it
like,
was just
"This guy
on
might
some
have
like
it."
fucking California Boulevard, just like just waving his little stick around, just hoping that some orchestra was passing by and would play music. I'm gonna look this up. He recorded the scores of Peter Gunn in 1959, Days of Wine and Roses in 62, Charade in 63. So this is all well before Star Wars, which was 77. So yeah, he was definitely around. He was definitely doing stuff. He was definitely known in the industry before Star Wars. In 74, you know, he was collabing with Spielberg. So yeah, definitely known.
Oh, in 74 he was with Spielberg.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. So that's probably that connection then.
Yeah. So I think he would have done Jaws before before he did this, obviously. So yeah, he was a name. So yeah.
All right, tell me, where do you want to go with this? Because most of my notes are about like the kind of just me in awe that this movie works, and I haven't actually got a whole lot of plot stuff. I'll be honest. I'm mostly relying on you for like character stuff.
All right. Well, you relied on me for anything for this episode. That was your first mistake. All right.
Including waking up and arriving on time for it.
Exactly. I wanted so badly to have notes and be prepared, but I cannot stress how much I needed a nap. And I set an alarm and everything. I was supposed to give myself a whole hour and a half so I could get ready for both this podcast and the podcast we're going to record immediately after it. But I fucked up. Anyway, I don't know, Lawrence, because I don't have any notes. But if I did, I imagine they would be more the opposite of yours. Like you've gone all your usual cunty self and like all the fucking cinematography and all this shit, and I would have gone.
Yeah, I mean, it did change movie making forever.
Yeah,
Nathan.
fucking all the mise en scene, and I would have gone for more like the world building and lore and all my usual bullshit. You know, what's
Yeah.
that above your door?
These are some posters. I
What
put up some
posters?
posters this week.
What are they?
Those are the ones I didn't want to put up properly. That is a picture of Daniel Craig in Glass Onion and something to do with the Northman.
I do declare.
I do declare. Oh no, he's back. He's back and he's in the studio. Nathan, stop deflecting. Think about something. This Star Wars is one of your favourite things ever. Tell me why you love it and more specifically this movie.
I wasn't deflecting. I was just noticing a thing, and I wanted to talk about it. I do love Star Wars, and this is a Star Wars movie which I enjoy. Here's something. Which version did you watch? Let's kick off this discussion.
The one that is on Disney Plus, but I have seen
The McClunky cut.
Yes, it was the McClunky cut. Yeah, and I got a
Yes.
note about that. Have you seen the original 1977 theatrical?
I have. I've seen I've seen the despecialized edition, which I believe is as close as we can get to
Yeah.
that version. I don't care about it. I've never cared for and not in a sense that like I don't care about the theatrical shit or whatever like that. People get very angry about the changes and the special editions, and I'm like, and I'm not going to sit here and say that all the additions to this movie are good, because that's not the case. And that, yes, there are scenes like, more specifically, most noticeably when they go to Mos Eisley, and it's just, hey, look at how cool computers are, kids. It's like,
you know when someone first learns how to green screen, they're like, what's all of the memes? It's like an MLG compilation. There's something everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's very overwhelming the senses with 90s era CGI. But like, I think at least a lot of the changes are for the better of the movie. And then I know there's this argument about like, well, it's not the original, it's not pure art and lost media and all that. Fuck, I don't care.
Yeah, but it's George Lucas made the choice. Like,
exactly.
It's his film.
It's George Lucas himself making these changes. So I think like, look, if he wants to tinker and go wild with it, then I think he has the right to do that. So
I do think though, like as a director anyway, I think George's Lucas's.
yeah,
I do think George Lucas's source is best when it is slightly restricted.
oh,
Like,
you're doing this Twitter thing again.
No, but I think he's one of them directors where like he's got so many cool ideas, but like grounding them is like the part that he's incredible at. But then he sometimes just wants to go a bit beyond, and it's like, it's really cool when he wants to put like Jabba and Boba back in like the original trilogy, so they're there for the whole time, and that I don't give a shit about.
I do enjoy the shot where Boba Fett is like, and I'm here too, because I'm Boba Fett.
He's just, and he doesn't say anything, and he's just kind of awkwardly in the corner, just like.
Well,
hello.
that whole scene is awkward, because that whole scene is basically, it's doing the exact same thing the Greedo scene does.
Yeah,
It's just the same scene again, but now you've got Jabba, a weird way that Han walks around Jabba, and you've got two Greedos in the background, neither of which are Greedo apparently. But
yeah. I've got a section, and I thought I'd put more on it, but I didn't. I want this, and there's two things on it, and it's for all of my notes. There's a section called "Stuff I Could Have Done Without,"
Okay.
and it's just one is that scene. It's just like this is a perfectly paced movie.
No, it's a beautiful scene. You need it in there, I reckon.
I don't know if you do.
I think you do. I think it's beautiful. Well, need is strong, but I think it would be a shame to lose it.
I think it'd be a shame because we wouldn't have that god-awful step over and that awkward judder of Harrison Ford being elevated slightly.
I know it's funny, and I know it looks horrible, but it's just one of those things where it's like there's a charm to it for me now. Like, I love that it's so shit, and it's clearly, clearly was never intended to do that at all. But like, I don't know, there's something about that that's just funny for me now. And like, even the way that Han says, "Jabba, you're a wonderful human being," like that
to a big slug.
Exactly, that's so fucking, and it now has like a double meaning to it. I don't know. It's one of those weird, charming things which I think would be a shame to lose now at this point.
I do see what you're saying, because it adds a bit of character and a fun bit of backstory towards George tinkering away.
Yeah.
The other one is the one that I genuinely think makes the scene worse.
Which one?
And it's the McClunky edition. Right. And look, I don't care if Greedo says a silly word. I don't care, but it's like the way that little standoff is edited, it's so like back and forth. And,
well,
and he says one thing, he says that.
This is like the 10th version of this scene.
Yeah, I know.
The whoever shot first scene has gone through many renditions, and you can find like a compilation of them all on YouTube. My favorite is the little head tilt to the side one.
Why do you like these weird additions? These weird little CGI head additions?
Because I think they're funny. That's why I think they're funny. No, I look. Is McClunky necessary? Absolutely not. Is it funny? Fuck yes, it is. It's hilarious to me that one of the last changes that George ever wanted to make to this trilogy, like before he sold it to Disney, like one final change he made was, "Oh, I'm gonna make Greedo say McClunky before he dies." That was somehow very imperative to him.
The one thing I don't get about that as well is it's not even like a shot match. Like it suddenly just zooms in, or not zooms in, but it cuts in closer, and it's a really like weird shot that doesn't feel like it was ever part of the scene.
It feels organic and natural to me. I love it.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
McClunky.
McClunky. Yeah, I love. Yeah, you're right. I do think the idea that he just went back and was like, it's not quite there yet.
It's not quite perfect. Yeah.
This nonsensical 1 second beat will make it much better,
and it does.
Fair enough.
What I'm interested to see what else is on your list of complaints and criticism.
No, that's it. It's two things. It's the Han and Jabba scene, because it does, in a movie that is perfectly paced, it does the exact same thing twice.
See, I would argue, out of anything I would have argued all the shit before that, like when they get to Mos Eisley and it's like, and and they pull up to the stormtroopers, but then all these CGI droids walk in front of the camera and everything.
And a big like moose thing,
a big fucking bantha or whatever as well, is just crossing the street, and then like, well, I guess we gotta look at this now. So
I guess this is in the way.
Yeah. And then there's all like fucking droids whirring in the background. It's like an ADHD child's just like imagination, It's just like, nothing can be stationary. There's always got to be things moving and twirling and stuff.
That was going to be on the list, but the reason I didn't put it on this is you have to take it in the form it comes in, and I like what it does for like expanding Mos Eisley, and like that shot where like the Luke speeder is driving through and you get more of a city rather than just it being like a weird sand hut bar. Because they call it a spaceport, and then in the original they just arrive and it's just like, here's a building.
There's like 2 streets or whatever.
Yeah. So I like the expansion that it does, and unfortunately that does come with a load of weird shit, but you have to live with it.
What about the scene where they're like, "Look, sir, droids," and then they're like, "But now there's other stormtroopers in the background, and look at this one get on his camel. Isn't that cool?"
Oh, yeah. I like that, but I was distracted by the one that I think was always there. That he kind of just pops his head up in frame and holds up like a thing.
Yeah,
it's so silly.
That's the one who's like, "Look, sir, droids," and he's like holding up like a little ring thing or whatever, a little gear, I guess.
What do you want to talk about? Where do you want to go with this?
Wherever, man. I'll follow you.
All right, follow me. Be prepared to mostly be talking about filmmaking stuff then.
Well, I'll squeeze in my lore around whatever.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Whatever you're fucking going on about.
All right. Well, we spoke about John Williams a little bit already, but the
all
score...
right, no, fuck you. I'll tell you. Here's what I want to start with. Let's start with the opening, because just
okay.
I was quite in awe of just how good it felt to have that like. One thing I always enjoy about Star Wars movies is that moment of anticipation. And this might sound wanky, but like genuinely, that like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then it's like fade to black, and it's exciting. What's gonna happen? It's a few seconds of silence and darkness before the explosion of and then the crawl and everything like that. It's so good. Like fucking. And the original version was a little bit different in that, there was no episode 4, A New Hope, and all this sort of stuff. But and it was a little bit faster. But it's just one of those things now which I love with a Star Wars movie. We might never see it again, but it's good stuff. I enjoy the crawl.
It's one of them like there's a reason it's still happening in any Star Wars movies that come out.
Well, it's not though, is it? That's the thing.
What? No, what? The dun is? The dun,
Not really, no, because they don't do the crawl. It's only for Skywalker Saga movies, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but, like, I mean, the ones that came out, like, less than 10 years ago, it's still happening to this, like...
Yeah.
Well, I guess not to this day, but whenever the last one came out, 2019, I think it was?
2019, yeah. Do you remember how jarring Rogue One is, though? Like, Rogue One feels like it should be there, but it was just cut. Rogue One is so upsetting to me in that respect, because it's just like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and then it's just like and now we're here.
Yeah.
It feels like
I quite like it though.
There.
I like the suddenness of Rogue One.
I don't. It feels like it was there and it was just cut out. Like we don't quite know how to do it.
They've kind of it's a rod for their own back, isn't it? Really, because now whenever they don't do it in anything, you're like, hang on, something's wrong. Something's up here.
They're still trying to figure it out, but yeah.
Yeah. I do like that. It's just the ultimate sign of, like, it's different, right? It feels like a new... And I don't know what loads of movies were looking like in the 70s and stuff, but, like, it's a sign that you're in for a slightly different experience. It doesn't open in a way that normal movies open.
No, it was very much inspired by the... what's this called? Flash Gordon, like, crawls and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like... Well, previously, our hero Flash Gordon was stranded on an alien planet where blah blah blah. It's just that, isn't it? But like for cinema, basically.
Yeah, essentially. I was gonna say with John. I know we already spoke about John Williams a little bit, but the music is something that I know you love. Like often, I'll just call you and you'll be listening to a score in the background, or like I think we went to a cinema once and I was like, Nathan, I know this is a Star Wars song, but what song is it? And you just, like an encyclopedic knowledge, you just turned around and you were like, it's this one from this movie. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. My man understands. But I figured today, and like, this is something I hadn't really considered until today, because it has been a while since I've watched A New Hope.
Yeah.
Because every night I'll use it a lot for editing stuff, so I'll find, like, I scrub through it so often that, like, I feel like I'm more familiar with it than I should be, but it's been a while since I actually sat down, put it on, and watched the movie start to finish.
Yeah.
But I think this score is like, it's possibly John Williams' best.
Yeah.
I say that his work in Star Wars in general is the best of his entire body of work. But like, it does something that I hadn't noticed until today, where it not only works for the individual characters, but like, given that the characters are all different. And like because they're all different character archetypes, right? You've got like the hero and the villain, and like I know Leia's not this, but if you were going to put a character archetype to her, it'd be like the damsel that gets rescued. They're all such different character archetypes that they all have different themes that do different things and achieve different things. Like you've got the sunset music sequence, which is very like earnest and hopeful. You've got the Imperial March, which is obviously quite threatening and imposing and loud.
There's no Imperial March in this movie.
What's the one where he's walking around then, where he like first enters the ship and is like, tear this place apart. Yeah, what's that one?
It's that. I don't know the name of it, but it's that.
Don't be humble, Nathan. What's the name?
I don't know. Imperial March was debuted in Empire Strikes Back. So.
Okay. Well, you get what I'm saying about the music around Vader is still
it's sinister.
Loud and
it's
yeah. And I think what this score does is like, because given all those music pieces are so different, it still manages to feel like cohesive. It still manages to bring all of it together.
Yeah.
Like it's such a span of different types of characters and different settings that like it would be an impossible film to make it all feel like it's the same thing.
I always love the when they break free from the Death Star and then they're chased by the TIE fighters and the it's just so exciting and so much fun and just gets you ready for a fun little chase sequence with a little dogfight where they're shooting the ships or whatever. It's a lot of fun. I love that one. And then when they blow up the Death Star, it's always seemed weird to me. This piece of music when they blow up the Death Star, and it's like somehow like the tension of it is built into the music, and it's the da da.
I love it.
Da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da. And it's like, when's it coming? When's it coming? Like, when's the explosion coming? It's I don't know. It's very well done, I think.
That's genuinely one of my favorite fucking like edits of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because you're just there like, it's gonna blow up. I saw it go in. It's gonna blow up. When's it blowing up? And it's cut into like the last shot of Tarkin is that of him being like, I'm unsure, and I'm like, a minute ago you were convinced that this wouldn't happen. So what's going on?
Yeah.
I love that. And I obviously then you've got the Luke looking at the sunset, the twin suns, what's it called?
The Force theme.
I mean, that's probably one of the most iconic movie scenes ever put to film, right?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so iconic, and that's one of the main, like, I would argue that's probably the theme that shows up the most in Star Wars. You know, like if you hear a Star Wars song, it's probably going to be that one.
Do you want to talk about the characters a little bit?
I would love nothing more than to talk about some of the characters.
This is like once in a lifetime casting, right? Like,
yes.
You don't get like, I mean, like the core. I know you've got like
You're talking about
Chewbacca.
Kenny Baker as R2.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Although saying that, Anthony Daniels,
Anthony Daniels, yeah.
Yeah, every single time I watch anything Star Wars, I'm like, how is there a human man in that?
Yeah, just the smallest man ever.
It's so tiny, but
And well, not the smallest man ever, but like the skinniest man ever, basically. Yeah.
yeah, but even his head feels like it'd be too small. Like you can be
Yeah.
skinny as anything and still have a normal sized head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't lose weight on your skull. But yeah, no, everyone is great, but like specifically Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, like they're just.
Here's the thing with Anthony Daniels, because I know that's what he was talking about. I see this pop up on like Twitter every now and again, where like people are like, "Did you know in the original Star Wars C-3PO actually has a silver leg?" And people are like, "What? No, I never knew this." And I'm like, "I did." Have you ever? Is that something you've been aware of?
I didn't notice that. When did he have a silver leg?
He's got a silver leg all throughout this movie.
Has he?
Yeah, one of his legs is silver.
Hang on, I've got to look up a picture of it. I never noticed this.
You never noticed it?
No, genuinely never.
Yeah, one of his legs is silver. It's subtle, I'll tell you that, but yeah.
Is it like a chromey silver?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, it's the bottom part of his leg.
Yeah.
His shin downwards.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever noticed that before.
Well, there you go. You're welcome.
And I'm a fool. Does it change? Does it go gold?
No, I think it might be silver throughout the whole trilogy. I think.
That's insane. Yeah, I'm seeing a picture of him in Empire and it's silver as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've never noticed this.
Have you not?
Genuinely never.
Oh, there you go.
But yes, anyway, all three of them, right?
Yes.
It's hard to replicate this level of like natural chemistry that the three of them have, which is nuts considering it's like a man in I'd imagine his 30s with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher was like 19, 20-ish.
She was like 19.
Yeah, and I've no idea how old Mark Hamill was. I'd say like 25, maybe.
No, roughly about the same age as. He wasn't that much older than Carrie, like 22, 20. He was a young boy.
Okay, yeah. And it just, I don't know, there's something about it that it feels like they're well, like when you look at them, you'd be like, these people would never be mates. Like,
Yeah.
There's something about them that, and maybe that's just the characters that they play and how good of like actors they are. But I don't know. They're like magnetic to get those scenes. The scenes where there's all three of them in, like the trash compactor scene, like the way they just breathe so much life into the movie in general, just by being just bouncing off one another, really.
What really came through for me watching this was how fucking whiny and annoying Luke is. He's such a little bitch in this movie.
He's meant to be a little bitch.
I know, yeah, I know he is, but he's such a little bitch. Like the whole way through, he's just like, what? There's one scene where I'm surprised Han didn't just turn around and punch him in the face. Like, is when they're on the Falcon and they just, is it when they arrive at Alderaan or when they're setting off and escaping? I don't know. There's, at some point, and Luke's just like, what's going on? Where are we? What's going on? What's that flashing thing? And he's like reaching out, trying to touch something. And clearly now is not the moment for you to like fucking freak out and try to figure out what everything is going on around you. It's a very funny scene.
It's also very funny. And I know the movie is like, you're supposed to ignore this, right? You're meant to more focus on the immediate story and like the sci-fi components.
Yeah.
But there's always something that struck me as funny in this movie is when like Leia's entire planet gets blown up.
Yeah.
And Luke's like, this old man.
Yeah.
This old man's dead and I knew him for a day.
And like she's putting the blanket on him to like comfort him, and she's just lost her entire family and her planet and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get to, is it Yavin 4?
Yeah.
The base, yeah, they get to Yavin 4 and some old guy's like, I'm so sorry to hear about your planet. And she's like, later, mate. we got a war going on here.
Yeah.
I think Carrie Fisher's the best of all of them in this.
Carrie Fisher is so good in this movie, and just the character of Leia. I was really struck watching this, how just so far ahead of her time that character is, and how much like this movie does not fuck about with like, oh, the damsel in distress, you know, she rescues them. Like, fucking hell. As that rescue is going absolutely fucking nowhere. She's like, what the fuck are you two idiots? Let me grab this gun off you, first of all. I'll solve this one, boys. Don't you fucking worry about this.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's
She's
like,
so great, man.
It's so funny that, like, and the first thing that happened, and you know, I don't want to get into this too much at all, but, like, it's very telling that if this character was written today, it wouldn't be one of the greatest characters of all time, because people wouldn't let it. Because people would scream at it online.
It's woke.
But like, fucking
Yeah.
I'll say no more than the double standard of it is fucking outrageous.
Star Wars 1977 is too woke.
And I've always thought so too.
Hollywood is definitely woke.
Yeah, I definitely haven't just had this opinion since 2015. I promise. No, but like, it's so funny that Luke comes in and like he has the big moment. He even steps into center frame, takes his helmet off, his hair's looking windswept, he's looking handsome, and he's like, I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm here to rescue you. And she's like, what? Yeah, she roasts him. She's like, you're a small man.
You're a small little boy.
So I love that. But there's her performance, like they had to and I've seen like her audition tape, or I guess like a portion of it, or what they've released of it online, in sort of like various documentaries and stuff. But like she brings something to it, whereas like from the very get-go, I think Carrie Fisher understood that it was like, there's a part of her that needs to feel like regal and elegant, and there's a part of her that needs to feel like straight-laced bureaucrat.
Governor Tarkin, I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Yeah, and it's why like the accent change has never bothered me, because that's an act, it's a persona.
Yeah, 100%.
And then the second that she's like just amongst the rebels and she's just grabbing a gun and she's like, you know, my dad's not here, I'm gonna fucking go wild.
Jimmy Smits,
yeah, he's not here. He's off to Alderaan with his box of puppies.
Yeah,
to never be in another movie. But no, she's phenomenal. I think Harrison Ford especially as well is. I mean, it's Harrison Ford. He's just the coolest man ever.
He's cool. He's hot. He's got that. He does that great smile where whenever he does it, he's like, oh, "You're such a little shit, but you're so handsome."
I have to forgive you because you're simply too sexy.
You got me twirling my hair and giggling over here, like, oh, stop it.
It struck me in this that, like, especially at the start of it, like his character really. I know he's developed and everything else since, and his character has gone on a journey. But he still has... One of my favourite Star Wars movies is The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Right? And I love the character of Han Solo in that and what's done with him and how kind of reluctant mentor he is in that.
Yeah.
And he's almost the same here. Like, he's still in his 30s. He's still got this grumpy old man attitude to stuff.
I think that's just Harrison Ford. I think he's always had that.
But that's why he's perfect for it. Like, you bring, like, even like I like what Oscar Isaac does with Poe Dameron, but he was very obviously in Force Awakens supposed to be somewhat of a more dutified, moral Han Solo stand-in, the cool pilot.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of character. But there's an element of him where, like, he always does feel too polished. You need a guy that is like, and people have said this to death, but like you need, in a movie like this that is so hokey and silly and cheaply made and done on the fly, where every set feels like it could fall apart a little bit.
Yeah.
You need a guy on the inside believing it, but also being like, this is dumb.
Yeah, you need, when you have Alec Guinness being like, the Force is a mystical, it penetrates us, it binds us, it brings, you need someone being like, the fuck are you talking? This is all bullshit. This is just give me a good gun and I'll fucking solve the problem, mate, alright? Like, I don't need any of this.
And I think this is the dad stand-in character. This is the character that, like, dad sat on the sofa watching this. You know, I can't say what that looked like in 1977.
No one sat on the sofa watching this. You had to
no,
go
they all
to
had Disney Plus.
No, Lauren. You had to go to your movie theater to see this.
All right, but like, I don't know. Whenever it was around, on
you pay
VHS,
75 cents. You'd sit in the most uncomfortable chair ever, and then you'd watch your movie.
Akin to like a church pew.
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
Just dreadful. Yeah. But he's the character that at least I'd imagine today, like dads that have never cast their eye over Star Wars once. This would be the reason that they kind of edged and sat on the sofa and were like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is nonsense. And then by the end of it, when Han Solo's like shooting the TIE fighters out of the sky, they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a great comeback. It's a great, like, you know, it's a great little arc for Han, because it's like, no, I'm just the mercenary. I'm here to do my job, get paid, and then I'm off, kid. I don't care about any of your grander rebellion nonsense. I don't care about the whole state of the galaxy or anything like that. I'm not the hero. I'm just here to look out for myself and fuck you. Here I go. But secretly, I am the hero, because that's Han's thing, man. He's always saying, you know, I'm not the good guy. I'm not the hero. I'm just the guy who flies in, does the job, gets paid, and goes. But like, no, you're the hero. You're a good suit boy.
Yeah.
You love this shit. You'll never admit it, but you love this shit. You're the hero, and here you are doing the hero thing because you just can't resist.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's like the admiration of people being like, that guy's a great guy, because he actually doesn't. I mean, it's very strong in his like demeanor in general. He doesn't actually give a shit what anyone thinks about him.
Yeah.
At all, because I've seen people say like, oh, his character, like, he comes back because he wants the recognition, he wants to be the guy that did it, and like, I don't think that's true at all. I think he just wanted it done, and we're like, these guys are fucking around.
I think Luke got to him when he was like, oh, you're just gonna take your reward and go and all this stuff, and he was like, you know, he said to him, you can make a difference, you can help us out and stuff, and he was like, nah, that ain't me, kid, you know. But
it's when Chewie roars at him and he's like, I know what I'm doing. I forgot how funny this was as well. There are some great Chewie timed roars.
Go on then.
No, I wasn't prepared. No, but like, there's one specifically that is like after. Well, firstly, the chess one, when he like hands behind the back of his head and he's like,
it's the Jarek.
The what is it called?
Is it the Jarek? No, it's not the Jarek. Is it?
Sabacca's cards, right?
Sabacca's cards, yeah. I have the Jarek in my head, but that might be something else entirely.
Yeah, it is the Jarek, you're right. I typed in hollow chess and it's the first thing that came up on
there
Wikipedia.
We go. That's why. See, that was just lodged in there. That was just like, the Jarek.
You're like, that's a word that I know from somewhere.
Yeah.
On, just before we get off casting, something I've, again, never ever noticed until this watch through. And this, I don't know, like, maybe I'll cut this. This might be a burn on the extras and, like, the minor roles actors.
Ooh.
But, like, no, I don't think it is. I think that they've got to look. The casting of all the extras, specifically, the reference I'm going to make is the boardroom where he's like, your devotion to that ancient religion, and then he gets choked out. That's it.
Don't frighten us with your sorceress ways, Lord Vader. Yeah.
I do like that there's some moments in this movie where they hadn't quite got the terms down. Like Ben Kenobi's called a wizard. And like stuff that it's like, That's doesn't feel like Star Wars to say.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
think,
they've.
I think Luke calls them. He calls R2 and 3PO robots at one point. I'm like,
Oh,
that's-
yuck!
Yeah, it's not a term we use in this galaxy. I like
There's
that.
there's Princess Leia as well.
Yeah.
I
Princess
noticed.
Leia is done twice, famously. Once by Tarkin, and then once by the rebel general. Thanks to the analysis by Princess Leia with this battle droid.
It's like no one on set was like, "Come on, man, just we're all saying it like this."
That's kind of like an ongoing thing with Star Wars, though. Like,
Yeah.
the only example off the top of my head I can think of is Ahsoka, but like, Ahsoka's name is Ahsoka. But then when we had a scene with, I think it was in Rebels, where Ian McDermott was playing Palpatine, obviously, and he's like Ahsoka Tano. It's just one of those things where like
Oh,
villains-
Shoka.
villains will always just mispronounce your name for whatever reason. Like,
Like if Sean Connery was saying it, Ashoka.
no, like he was just reading it how it's spelled, really.
I mean, I guess yeah, he's got a fair point.
Oh,
with that.
not really, because the S comes after, but whatever.
I don't know what it is. The way that Alec Guinness says evil has always made me laugh.
Evil. Yeah.
Only a master of evil, Darth. But no, anyway, look. The minor roles actors, right, in that scene, they've all got like the movie does a lot with a little. It's like,
Yeah.
right, we got to get like 6 guys in this room to all look menacing, and they have to look despicable. It's one of the only behind the curtains looks at the Empire we get.
Nazi uniforms.
Yeah, so well, firstly that, which goes a long way.
Nazi uniforms.
But then like they all look. There's something sinister about all of them.
Yeah.
Like
That one guy's got that haircut.
yeah, I wrote this down. The ugly haircut that looks insanely creepy. Like if you know anyone in real life with that haircut, high chances are that they're a creep.
Yeah. Sex offender.
Except, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'm never ever. I don't know. Can I do that? My hair's quite short at the minute.
You can't do that, no.
No, not that creepy. So one of them's got like a bit of a weird voice. One of them, the guy that's like a threat to your battle station or something, whatever his voice is. You know that
Okay.
you know that guy?
No, I don't know which one you mean.
One of them's got a weird voice. Tarkin's
Okay.
got like an insanely stern jawline. Like Peter Cushing just looks evil.
One of them's Admiral Wolf Yularen from the Clone Wars and later Andor. And
Is he the one with the white hair?
yeah,
Yeah, I thought so.
the guy in the white jacket.
Yes, I know the one you mean
Yeah.
now. But you get my point that they don't look like normal guys. They all look like evil guys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, they're all in Nazi uniforms to start with.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's just the Nazi.
That definitely helps. I what I like about that, and I think it's one of the reasons Rogue One works so well as well, is like I guess there's more praise to Rogue One than this film, but like there's an empty chair, and you're like, ooh, was that fucking Ben Mendelsohn's chair? You know, was he supposed to take his
yeah.
seat at this council? But he wasn't there because he died because he got killed by his own ball of death. Here's something I was thinking of as well. You know how like James Earl Jones is? I think he recently said he's retired now as well, and like he's like, you know, maybe not probably the best choice for Vader anymore. And, you know, he's a beautiful voice. Like his iconic Vader voice is, well, it's iconic. It's Vader.
Yeah.
And it's the best there ever was. And I was thinking, I was watching this today, and I was like, do you know who would be a good, or who would have been a good Vader? And it's such a shame for a lot of reasons, but such a shame that they recently passed. Andre Braugher.
Oh my god, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine recently, and I'm like, oh, how has he never done it? He would have done like a really
so
good
true.
job, I reckon.
Because his voice naturally sits in that register anyway.
Yeah.
there-
Peralta.
Oh yeah. Because he's got a like fucking.
He's
that,
got
that
a really
voice is
like,
incredible anyway. Yeah.
He's got like a really poetic way of speaking about him as well.
Yeah.
Some of the best Holt moments are when he like goes on these weird like poetic rants and stuff. Like
I need to get I need to edit in some of his Captain Holt lines. Just imagine like Tarkin. I thought I don't know. I thought that was your foul stench when I stepped on board, and it just cuts to Vader going bone.
how dare you, Detective Diaz?
But if you're here, who's guarding Hades? Oh, we never spoke about that. Gone too soon. What a talent, Andre Braugher.
One of the best, man. He's so good. That's why I'm rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine at the moment, and it's every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh, you really are just one of the greatest. Like,
yeah. And like hadn't dabbled in much comedy before. Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I mean that's what's so good about him. He's like he's clearly such a great actor, and it's just like this great, almost Shakespearean-esque performance, but in the silly little goofy propaganda show, which
it's untapped as well, because like you know now when you see like Steve Carell in something, you're like, I understand Steve Carell's delivery now. Like he's still a generational talent.
Yeah,
but like it's some of the sheen is washed away because you're like, I've seen The Office like 6 times.
He was 20 years old at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but then like Andre Braugher, like, oh man, he had so much more to give in terms of his comedy. I'm sad about Andre Braugher now. Anyway, what are we doing? This is Star Wars.
He was in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So.
Oh yeah, and Reed Richards fucking dogs him out. He's like, I was a little nerd, and now I'm married to the sexiest woman on the planet, and you're taking my orders or something.
Yeah.
What an odd.
Do you remember in Fantastic Four, just the first one, when they're like, quick, we got to get to this thing. How will we get there? We can't get through. And then Jessica Alba's like, I know. I'll take off all my clothes because I can turn invisible and get through. Whoops, my invisibility slipped. You saw me in my bra. Anyway, I'm naked now and I'm going to walk through. Okay, I'm through the crowd of people that we couldn't get through, and now we're here. Oh, you guys are here too. How did you get here?
We came across and we also didn't get naked.
We just walked off camera.
Yeah, we just went round.
But you didn't need to see our boobies.
We're men. It would make no sense for you to see our boobies.
Ridiculous. It would be ridiculous if they undressed.
Oh, man.
Sexism.
Sexism, indeed, yeah. Especially in the early 2000s, too.
Yes.
Incredible stuff. I want to talk, if you don't mind, about the editing. This is Lawrence's editing minute.
All right, bit sloppy, isn't it?
No, no, it's one of the best. Actually,
no, I'm gonna critique it. I'm gonna say it's shit. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you look at it by like today's standards, then yes, because it's not edited on Final Cut Pro or whatever. It's not like it's not like put together with precision. It was fucking Mrs. Lucas with a fucking knife and a bit of glue. Like,
yeah. But it's still like incredible. Like
I'm just speaking about like the scene specifically where like, oh, we got to close this door, but this door doesn't actually close. So I'll just hold position in front of it. All right, let's put the door in. Alec Guinness, don't you fucking move. Stay still, Alec Guinness. We need the shot. And I'm being as still as I can. All right.
I'm just picturing the day that like I don't know George brought over to like the little video village where the editors normally camped out, right?
Yeah.
George, well, probably not in the 70s, actually.
No, yeah. Is it Marsha? Is it Marsha Lucas who had it?
I think it's Marsha Lucas. Yeah.
Yeah. She would have just like fucking just put it in their living room one night with just a bit of like a fucking hot glue gun and a knife.
And she was like, and George was like, this isn't such an incredible scene. This is the scene where Luke Skywalker first holds the weapon of his father, right? The lightsaber that will go on to change the events of the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Let's get this shot absolutely perfect. And then she's like, did no one tell Mark Hamill not to move his head? Because my God, that sharp left turn of Mark Hamill's head in that scene. But no, look, the editing in this is fucking, it's not only do I think it's fucking perfect, but I also think it's one of the reasons this movie is where it is and the franchise became what it did. Because it's
famously what saved the movie. Like it was.
Yeah.
This movie was a mess. Like it was just like George just like running all over the world filming like random scenes and stuff. And like it's all part of my vision. Like
and that's what I mean. Like when George is like as a director, he's such a good ideas man, and he's so good at executing them and realizing them. But then he needs someone to just go, okay. It's Kill Your Darlings, isn't it? You need someone to go, bin 30% of this, and this is perfect.
Which clearly George does have a problem with, because then he's like,
yeah,
because then like 20 years later at the time or whatever, he's like, what if I can put this back in? I'm like,
Yeah.
now that I've divorced Marsha, let me put this back
Yeah,
in.
maybe I can get back into this.
Yeah.
No, but there's like the reason I say the editing specifically in this movie, even more so than the other Star Wars movies as well. Like the flow of information is so natural, and there's like this one scene in particular, and that like, friend of the show and friend in general, Ben, who has obviously Ben from Canada, known editor,
Ben
right?
Kenobi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be him. Yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. But he taught me something ages and ages ago that was like cut to movement. Like something will always look weird unless you. I mean, not always, but it helps the seamlessness of a cut if you like. If I'm turning my head in one shot and the next shot my head is still, like it's just jarring. That's the thing in your brain that goes off and you go, that was wrong. That felt wrong.
Yeah.
And the second he showed me that, I became better at what I do because of that one piece of advice. And this is like, you see it all over this, like the POV shots of a Jawa looking at R2 just sliding across the desert.
Yeah.
You know, like you see the Jawa hide quickly and it cuts to R2 whose head has already started turning to look and investigate what that noise was. And it's like, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't fucking like waste any time apart from on the times where, you know, wasted time is the wrong word, but like if it doesn't need to be there for longer than it is, it's not. Like, it takes moments to like, you know, let Luke look at the sunset and let Luke watch his aunt and uncle's like corpses smoke away. That beautiful moment where he like turns his head and then looks back, and it's that more like resilient moment where he's like, no, fuck
Forcing
this.
himself to look, forcing himself to take in what the Empire has done. Yeah.
Incredible moment, but like those are the moments you stick with. And then and then like the end half of the movie is like a completely different movie. We spoke earlier about that dun 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 dun, dun like all those shots of like, when the fuck is this thing gonna fucking explode?
Yeah.
But like that, yeah, genuinely. Well, like you say, it's known all over that she largely saved the movie, but just like I think it won the Oscar, and it's like wholly deserved for best editing. It's incredible work.
As an editor yourself, do you think that Caravan of Garbage would be greatly improved if you and Ben edited it old school style, like with like film reel and a knife?
I can tell you that if that was the way editing was done, I wouldn't be an editor.
Yeah.
What else to talk about? Do you want to talk about sets and props?
I guess.
I told you, it's mostly filmmaking stuff I have.
All right.
No, but I also think, like, well, I'll move away from this but like, so much of my enjoyment from this is my just like that how in awe I am of the fact that this is still going today, and how like this movie was almost doomed to fail, but set up what is essentially a fucking dynasty of a franchise. And like its fan base is like loyal and unwavering. Like I know it's dreadful a lot of the time, and I think that I know you, and Nathan's making a bit of a I'm unsure about that statement face, but like they still go and see it though, don't they? Like they'll still show up and they'll still watch it.
Yeah, in that respect, yes, but
yeah, look, the worst Star Wars fans, they think they're the best Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
So that like my point, I'm not speaking to their character. I'm saying it's still, people still show up, and it's still one of the biggest things going today. But yeah, genuinely like the reason, and this is why I've got so many notes on the filmmaking stuff of it all.
You're a big nerd.
So, shut up.
You're a big film nerd.
Yeah, but this is cool. No, do you not like when you watch like Empire of Dreams and stuff? Are you not sat there like, this is insane how this works?
When I watch Empire of Dreams,
wait, what's it called?
Oh, like no, I'm like laughing at you because like I'm always watching Empire of Dreams. Yeah, it's time for my nightly viewing of Empire of Dreams.
But you've seen it.
Yeah, once like 6 years ago or whatever. When I watched Empire of Dreams, that was very funny.
Fuck's sake. Honey, put on Empire of Dreams.
It's
no,
Christmas.
but like,
Let's get our annual viewing in of Empire of Dreams, kids. Come
all right,
on.
all right, no, but like in all right, in less of a like an old timey context. Like I presume you watch like I don't know what they're called, but like the making of Mandalorian stuff, and like I'm pretty
Gallery.
sure Ahsoka had like a yeah, and Ahsoka had like a thing where it had a making of right as well.
I don't know if Ahsoka has come out yet. If it has, I haven't watched it yet.
I think I saw something on Disney Plus earlier that was like Master and Apprentice or something. It was called.
That was a little bit different. That came out like while Ahsoka was on.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, look, my point is that I just think like I don't know. I said earlier that they do a lot with a little, and I think that this is the movie where it shows the most. You know what I mean? They're like, we need a planet. Let's just go to a desert somewhere.
Tunisia.
We'll leave a big and we'll leave a big fucking skeleton there
Yeah.
for like 50 years, and it can stay there, whatever. But they like, you know, a desert is a desert. We're all familiar with what a desert is.
Yeah.
But then like you slap a fucking speeder there, or like a weird Jawa Land Cruiser, and you're suddenly like, this is a different planet, and I believe this.
Yeah.
Like they do, I don't know, just their set design and their prop department and everything. Like they do such a good job. Like Han Solo's blaster, immediately iconic. Like, and that's just the shape of a gun, so we understand what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like I would assume, I don't know this for a fact, but I'd assume it's just a bunch of fucking tubes glued together, right? Like,
Yeah. The lightsaber, it's literally just like fucking like a camera light, like a few pieces of a camera light just like put together, and like that's why you can like still get like those old fashioned cameras with the light, and it looks exactly like fucking Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, because like they didn't change it that much. They just added some you know like Star Wars-esque, you know, elements, for lack of a better term, to it, and like here it is. But yeah, it's very clearly that's what it is.
And that's like also the stuff that they add to it, like it's all simplified just for like visual comprehension. Like, you know, this is such a, I don't know if they knew this at the time, but this is a movie that fucking moves. Like there's so much plot in 2 hours of movie.
Yeah.
That like it gets like, you look on the buttons on the doors, and it's like it's a prison door, so there's red markings on it, and it's like, oh yeah, red is like, you're the bad guys, I understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke's lightsaber is blue, he's a good guy, I get that. Like it's all sorts like that, and like even down to like the effects designs of you know, the guy that's like, thanks to this information from Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Like, and then it shows the little presentation, and like you could show that to a child, and the child would understand that thing is bomb makes thing go boom.
Yeah.
Like it's all so well designed. You know, pretty soon the Death Star will be in range, and it's just like feels like a pie chart that's almost reached its filling quota. Like it's all designed in such a fucking clever way. There's a part of you that like you'd have a weird time of it, but you could grasp. And maybe George Lucas has said something to this effect. I think he might have done. I think that's probably where I've heard it from. Is like you could watch this without dialogue. You could. This is the story is so visual that like you kind of grasp the point of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just think this shit is fucking like, it's so fucking cool. Like when you think that the props, like you say, the props department were working with like, you know, they're on a movie set and they go, what have we got? We've got this old camera. There we go. It's the main good guy's weapon.
Yeah.
Like it's ingenious, and like I love the idea that they're all sat there. You know, Phil Tippett and his stop motion team are sat there, and I don't know the model maker, the main model maker guy. And then is it Ben Burt is the sound guy?
No idea.
I know all this because I've seen so many documentaries on like the making of this fucking thing.
You're always watching Empire of Dreams, yeah.
It's true. It's my nightly watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not even to fall asleep. I watch it to its completion and then I go to bed. But like they're all. I said earlier they're all at the top of their game. Like fucking that lightsaber sound effect, right? Incredible. The even like the sliding and opening of doors sounds great. The noise that's always stuck with me. Maybe you have your own Star Wars noise. the one that I love, the sound effect I probably love the most, is when, you know, they go, "You may fire when ready," and they pull the lever on the Death Star, and it goes,
I do love that.
incredible.
Yeah. I also just flat out love that. You may fire when ready.
Yeah. Oh, every time he says it, it's so eerie,
Yeah.
creepy.
Percussion, one of the best.
Yeah,
One of the
exactly.
best Doctor Who's kind of as well.
Oh yeah, forget about that.
In that weird like movie, series of movies sort of things. With Bernard Cribbins, actually. Bernard Cribbins was in one of them.
Is he?
Yeah, he was in one of them. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How did I not know that? That seems like something I'd have known.
Seems like something you should know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fool. Didn't Rowan Atkinson also play in like a Children in Need thing?
In a comic relief sketch.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Written by Stephen Moffat, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking small world in Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you are. What else? You got anything else to say on this?
I love the space wizards and all this weird stuff. That's what I love. No, like one of the things I did want to say is like you, when you talk about it, like almost being like a miracle in like how it turned out and stuff, and how it like, you know, it was essentially just thrown together, just one madman's fucking ramblings and incoherent thoughts all come together to form this strange little package that is Star Wars. I always think about like how it's so there's little details about this movie which like at the time meant nothing, because Star Wars the franchise wasn't a thing. It wasn't decided, you know, Vader was not Luke's father and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but there's little details and things which like really fucking make all that stuff work though, and it's so mind-blowing and it's so impossible that it does work. Like there's a moment where like Luke says to Ben, like they're talking about his father, like you know my father, who was he? And then like Ben has this like little look on his face, like a little he was a, you know, he was a good Jedi Knight and all this sort of stuff, and you know Vader killed your father and all this sort of stuff. He has like a look like, oh, this isn't quite true, but you know, it's the story.
Do you reckon that's George leaving something? Because I know he didn't know, and none of those decisions had been made. Obviously, like he thought he was probably going to die of a heart attack after this movie. He wasn't. There weren't plans for more until this even came out.
Yeah.
But like, do you reckon there's a part of him that left some of those lines in and slightly ambiguous because he wanted to hint at a larger world, even if he didn't know what it was? Or do you reckon it's just pure consequential luck?
I think most of it is pure whatever you said, luck.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's pure luck because, like I said, Star Wars was never made with a sequel in mind. It was never made with like you know, big franchise potential. Because first of all, that didn't exist in the 70s. But like, it was never.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it was never made to be more than this. I'm sure George was thinking about sequels, and you know, there was like Splinter in the Mind's Eye, which was like the book, which was like, you know, if it ever does get a sequel, let's do this. And then they're like, let's do something else entirely, and they did. You know, and yeah, there's like I think it's like just luck. There's like another example is like when Luke's having dinner and he like gets annoyed that he has to stick around on Tatooine and he can't go off to join the Empire. We always brush over that, don't we?
Oh yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. He just wants to go join the Academy. Okay. But yeah, and then like he like storms off or whatever, and Beru's like, you know, there's too much of his father in him, and like Joel Kinnaman, who's not Joel Kinnaman, is like, yeah, that's what I'm worried about, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Not Joel Kinnaman. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Joel Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton, yeah.
Yeah. You can blame me for that too. I was agreeing with you. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. It's because we speak about Joel Kinnaman on the moon all the time.
Joel Kinnaman on the moon. That's why.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Joel Kinnaman's on a moon or a planet.
It's true. He's on a moon. Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. No, there are a few of those moments. I'm trying to think of another one. Oh fuck. There's a lot of Vader stuff.
There is a lot of Vader stuff, and I think some of it has been like enhanced by what has come after. Like, I think the Kenobi show really fucking makes some moments in this seem beautiful and even more like fucking like there's that look on Obi-Wan's face before he like just drops into fucking thin air and stuff when he like sees Luke and Leia together, you know?
Oh, I thought about you when that moment happened. I was like, I know Lathan loves this bloody
I
thing.
do love it.
Yeah. That's because if you haven't, I don't know when we last spoke about it, but that's because it's him seeing the twins reunited,
seeing them together, brother and sister reunited,
which you know, whilst filming was nothing. It was
exactly
just
it wasn't a thing. Very clearly, Luke is like, oh, I fancy this girl, you know, like
yeah.
What do you think?
That's part of the humor I was saying as well. Like that, I'd never picked up on it again before. Where like that moment where like Han's like, yeah, I'm not interested, and Luke's like, I might be a bit interested, and then Luke's like, and then Han goes like,
what do you think? A princess and a guy like me,
and a wee little guy like me.
And Luke's like, no, I don't actually. No.
Yeah, I think that would be insane, frankly, Han. I think that's so unlikely.
Yeah.
No, that is very, very fun. Yeah. Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other stuff because this is Star Wars. I've got a bunch of little things.
I think one of the biggest ones is the fact that it's a miracle that Vader doesn't die in this movie.
Yeah, right.
Because like it's vague enough that like his ship was blown off and he's like, what? And then he, you know, just like blasts off into like fucking into space or whatever, and you know, we didn't see a ship explode or anything like that. So it really is a miracle that they didn't fucking put in that effect or whatever. So now we can have him come back and stuff.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, they could have hand waved it, couldn't they? Like he was
damaged and
he was recovered from a wreck or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily his mask still had oxygen in it, and
he survived worse. But yeah.
He has. He survived having multiple limbs removed.
Exactly, burning. You know, everything. So yeah.
What do you think of because Darth Vader's? I don't know too much about this, but I know that Darth Vader's suit is a bit different in this, isn't it?
It is a bit different, yeah. It's like it's just like not as like expensive as like, you know, because obviously you didn't have the budget Empire and Return of the Jedi did, so they could spend a bit more money and just make it look a bit like more sleeker and stuff. It's like a little bit shinier, but I don't know. There's something about like the more like matte and like also almost like dirty version of Vader. You know, it's a bit like untidy and a bit like gruff.
Feels like he's been busy and in the trenches getting busy killing people and stuff.
Well, again, like this is like enhanced by what's come after it, but like he was doing Rogue One like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's true.
He was slaughtering like a room full of fucking rebellion soldiers, and then and I think it just makes it funny when like Princess Leia is like, we're a diplomatic ship from Alderaan, you know, like motherfucker, I saw you, I was there, all right, you're lying to my face, okay? I just killed all your men, all right, so don't tell me that you're on a fucking diplomatic mission, Your Highness. All right?
I just watched you.
Yeah,
I saw this happen.
Little shit. Yeah.
I do like that though. Like the intro of this is something I noticed as well, and I've never really thought of it. And I know it's an ongoing joke that like stormtroopers, you know, have dog shit aim, and they're like
only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
Yeah, they're you know, we're supposed to believe they're the most elite fighting force ever conceived, but they're just a bunch of fucking idiots in helmets running around. Well, the one thing I really liked about this is that do
you remember
when
Rebels... Ted Lasso was a stormtrooper and he was trying to shoot that can?
Wait, what? When did this happen?
In Mandalorian, when he played the
was that Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah, he played the one who punched Grogu. Yeah.
Fucking, I didn't know that.
Did you know? Yeah, it's Jason. I don't know if it was him. It's his voice. I don't know if it was him in the suit, but it was the voice.
That was because I know that Daniel Craig was one in not in Rogue One.
He was in Force Awakens. Yeah, he's the one that Rey does the Jedi mind trick on.
And apparently, isn't one of the Prince boys, one of them, Prince Harry or William, are a stormtrooper or something?
I think that's in The Last Jedi. Yeah, but maybe that was cut. There was the Tom Hardy was one in The Last Jedi, but that was cut as well.
I think they should have been.
There's a very funny deleted scene though, the one with Tom Hardy, because it's like it's the most like Texan stormtrooper you've ever seen. Yeah, he sees. I think he sees like Finn. He's like, "Don't I know you from somewhere, boy?"
Oh, is it his mate from the lift or something?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
He's like FN2187. Oh shit!
FN2187, and then Finn has to be like Imperial officer and be like, "You don't know me. I'm above your rank now." And all
Yeah,
this stuff.
shut up.
Yeah.
Good
stuff.
We spoke about this in our Jedi Survivor one, but like stormtroopers, and I think they've changed. It's not so blatant in this one, but they've since become just like it's not just one guy that does the voice for all the stormtroopers, but they have to pull off this specific American cadence.
There's something about a stormtrooper voice which is. It inherently lends itself to comedy, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's just something. There's a moment in this I love. I always love seeing it. It's like when it's on the Death Star, when like R2 and 3PO are just like coming out of that little office they locked themselves in, and they're like, oh, they went that way or whatever, and then they all go. But then there's one stormtrooper left, still behind, just standing guard, and 3PO has that fun little moment where he's like, oh. And then just sees the guard. It's like, I'm going to take my counterpart here to maintenance. But then the stormtrooper's just like, all right.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't care, man. Just go. Just whatever. But it's just the flat, like, all right.
It does, doesn't it? Like, the whole point of it, like, you know, the Jedi mind trick is, like, stormtroopers are fucking dumb, basically, yeah. Like, and I the one, the bit that gets me is always... in the again, I know we're supposed to be talking about this movie, but it's in The Force Awakens when Rey goes like, and you'll drop your weapon on the floor, and he goes, and I'll drop my weapon.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Benoit Blanc himself.
Yeah, exactly, Benoit Blanc.
And I'll drop my weapon.
Oh, he's back. He's here again.
He's back, everyone.
No, but the reason I bring them up anyway is because it's such a funny opening when you look at like this war could go either way, couldn't it? Because both fighting forces are just fucking dreadful. Like, the rebels are all taking cover behind nothing in an open hallway.
Yeah.
All right, and some of them are slightly angled, and they're like, this will make it harder. And I'm like, you're still extremely exposed.
I do love those opening shots of various mustachioed men. Just
the most 70s men you'll ever see.
Yeah. They're so 70s. Everyone's got a weird big mustache and everything. They're all just giving each other looks as they hide behind literally nothing.
Yeah. I like that they've kept that up as well. Like when you do see like members of the Rebel Alliance in like newer Star Wars things, a lot of the time they will cast older, and they will give them this kind of, you know, a little quiff, a slick back
70s
vibe.
mustache or whatever.
Yeah. And I like that. It's part of the magic, isn't it? Like,
I never want to be in Star Wars, like in like an acting role or anything like that. But my dream, if I had to be in it, because you know I'm head on it or whatever. But like if I had to,
we just need to have Nathan.
Yeah, my dream cameo is like a sort of like a X-wing pilot, or something like that. Just a big mustachioed. Just give me a big fake 70s mustache and let me sit in a cockpit and just like fly and like look around. They're all over me and like this kind of stuff, you know.
And then just like a bad green screen explosion blow you out.
I'll
of the
be
sky.
Porkins' son. That's who I'll be. I'll be Porkins Jr.
Well, there's a chat. They love returning characters and connections. So there's
the legacy of Porkins.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd take one of those gigs as well. Just sat in a cockpit and being like, or just like having one random line of being like, I'm close to you.
That's what Dave Filoni does. Every now and then he'll pop up in an X-wing. He'll be like,
and then he'll be Chopper in another X-wing or something as well. But yeah, no, I like that. And the second that little shootout goes to shit, the second the stormtroopers are through the door, they are just, both forces are all over the shop. I watched one specific stormtrooper where he like he runs around the body of a dead rebel and then like steps over one and like peeks his head around the little door frame, and then he's holding his blaster with like one hand and he's like, "Pow, pow, pow." And it's like, how are you weren't trained by anyone. I would be better with a gun than you.
I don't think anyone in this movie was like trained how to use a weapon. Like,
no, not a chance.
Look at the way, like when the stormtroopers arrive at the hangar on Tatooine where Han is, and just the way he's like. He's like flying his wrist about everywhere as he's just wildly flailing about as he shoots the troopers. Very funny.
Speaking of Han, I love the moment where they go. What was it? Han is still trying for a second to keep up with the bravado of Chewie as a prisoner. And when Chewie gets fucked off and is like, this obviously isn't working, let's just kill him.
He's loose.
Yeah, and he goes, he's loose! And like, that's not fooling anyone.
One of my favorite memes, I think about it all the time, and I thought about it today when I was watching this, and I must have seen it like 10, 15 years ago at this point, but it sticks in my head. It's so stupid, but it's just a picture of like, I guess like a stock image of like people in a kitchen preparing food, but then like someone's like imposed Luke and Han's face over them, and then just the big obnoxious meme font like bottom top text font.
Yeah.
So someone's put Luke, we're gonna have company, and that's it. That's the whole. Luke, we're gonna have company, and they're like making dinner.
That's not even a meme. That
is a meme. That's so funny. Look, we're gonna have company.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Right, do you want to? I don't know how many you've got, but you might be able to think of some on the fly. I've got some little things. We can go one for one.
I'd love to.
All right, I will start to give you a moment to think of your first little thing.
All right, beautiful.
Incredible. There's a fun little sequence in there. I don't know if this is saying anything at all. I think it was just a little thing that amused me, where C-3PO goes, "I hate Jawas. They're disgusting." And then
I noticed this today. Yeah.
Yeah, and then not 5 seconds ago, he was just throwing them on a pile of burning ash. Like he was just laying them to rest. But the way he dropped one of the Jawas was like, it was more of like a get off.
It's like that scene in The Last of Us where Joel is like, where they're burning like kids' corpses or whatever.
Yeah, and Tess physically can't bring herself to do it. And Joel's just like, yeet. Anyway, one of your little things, please.
David Prowse famously thought he was going to do the voice of Vader, which will always be funny to me. I mean, it's not funny the way he was just like,
ousted and
like he was kind of treated by shit by everyone.
And he wanted nothing more than to just be like, hey, I did this, and they're like, we know you did, but still fuck off.
And he loved Star Wars until the day he died, and was like, he was always at conventions and everything like that, and he had nothing but love for it. But like, he was famously just horribly treated throughout it. But it is very funny watching those like behind the scenes like videos where you just hear this like this weird like Scottish accent coming out of Vader. It's very fun. I enjoy that.
It is very, very good. Yeah. Oh man. Poor David Prowse, man.
Yeah, poor David Prowse. Rest in peace to a big boy.
Indeed. Something I picked up on today. The opening crawl has an ellipsis at the end. I can't remember what the last sentence is. Right?
Yes.
But it has a 3-dot thing at the end.
It's 4 dots, yeah.
Exactly. And this is my thing. It's 4 dots.
Yeah.
And
that's like a staple of Star Wars opening crawls, by the way. It's
always 4?
Yeah, it's always 4, yeah.
I thought I was sat there like I'm the first person that's noticed this grammatical error in
Lawrence
Star Wars.
has uncovered an error in Star Wars. He's the first person to ever notice this.
But I looked it up, and a 4 dots is apparently only used when you're trailing off from a quote and then you're going to pick it back up, or like a point. So is it incorrect, or is it just their way of being like, oh, it's a galaxy far, far away, we use 4 dots here? What is it?
It's one of those things where it probably was incorrect, but now they're like, no, it's the law. Like,
it's Star Wars.
It's all part of the law, and it's a staple of the franchise. But
it's just rare that you see them write down notes to each other.
Yeah, it was almost certainly just incorrect, but yeah.
So is it always? It's always 4 now going forward.
It's well, in the look at all the opening crawls. You'll see it next week when we do Empire. But yeah, it's the 4 dots there as well.
Okay. A bit ellipsis talk, everyone. A note from you, a little thing from you, please.
Here's some. When The trench run on the Death Star, great scene, by the way. All of that stuff. I always love, one thing that's always stuck in my mind ever since I saw it as a kid was stay on target, but they're all over me. Stay on target. It's that little great moment. Where do you think the trench of the Death Star is? Like when they go in that trench, what is that?
I don't know if this is right at all.
Okay.
But I picture it as like the center of the Death Star.
That's what a lot of people see it as. Like when you see the Death Star, it's got like that line through the middle of it, like, going around. Yeah, that's what most people assume is the trench, which is incorrect, Lawrence.
Oh,
You're
okay.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Right. Okay.
It's actually more towards the top. It's like a trench just like around the top of it. You know?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because then it goes down. Yeah. It would,
Yeah.
'cause if it went into if it was in the middle, it would be like you're shooting sideways to go in.
Well, it depends on like which.
I mean, it's
which way
fucking. It's a planet.
So yeah, it's a big ball in space. Like,
Yeah.
depends on which way you're looking at it, really.
Have you seen that? I can't remember who it was. It might have been an Adult Swim thing. It feels like something they do, or it might have been someone else. It might have even been an old. Remember those old College Humor skits?
No.
Oh well, there was. I remember seeing one that was like Darth Vader was like he ordered like a coffee, and he told his like assistant stormtrooper that he needed a coffee, and the joke was that he kept getting the coffee order wrong, and the coffee shop was on the other side of the Death Star, so it would take him like 3 years to run back and forward to bring Darth Vader his coffee. It's a very funny little sketch.
The only is it Robot Chicken?
Yeah, that's Adult Swim stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The only like one of those Star Wars sketches I know is the Palpatine on the escalator one, where it's like Stormtrooper. You know that one?
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper.
You know?
And by the end of it, just go. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's very, very good. Yeah, because go, my lord,
Yeah.
my lord. You seen the "Was Up" one where the Emperor's bored and he just rings his mates and goes, "What the?"
No, have you seen? This is going back. I think this is like pre-YouTube, but it was like a video I always used to watch back in the day. Star Wars gangster rap.
I don't know. I feel like it rings a bell, but I've never seen it.
Let me see if I can find it. It was a little animation to it, which is very funny. But I'll play it now for you if I can find it.
We got Death Star. 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 And you know that we got it. Death Star. And you know that we got it. Luke, get your ass over here right now. Come monkey around that damn land speeder. Where them two droids I asked you, clean boy?
I'm glowing. I know I'm on probation. I clean the droids. Can I go to the Hashi station? I gotta lay away on the power converter, but now you're treating me like a scruffy nerf murder.
Star Wars gangster rap walked so that Darth Vader versus Adolf Hitler 4 could run, or so, however many they're up to now.
I think there was 3. I think there was only 3 of them. But
I think the point is that they shouldn't have made one.
I think those are great.
Oh, there's some choice things that I don't think they would so liberally throw around now.
Oh, it's Hitler.
I know, but
He's not a nice guy, Lawrence.
I'm
He's
saying it
not
would
gonna-
take a lot. It would
He's
take a
not
lot
gonna-
of money to dress me up as Adolf Hitler and say certain things on the internet.
Lawrence, it's a role. Are you come on? Are you saying anyone who's played Hitler in a movie is problematic because they played
Yes.
Hitler?
Yes, they're all dreadful people.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. All right, a little thing of my own is that I like that when you first see Chewie, the first ever shot of Chewie in Star Wars, you think he's just one of the little weirdos in the Mos Eisley roundup.
Yeah.
You get like a sweeping glance over him, and then it's like, I don't know, on to the next weird squid or something in the corner.
Yeah.
And the the jazz musicians that are all wearing their turtlenecks?
Jizz.
Excuse me?
Jizz.
You come again?
It's jizz. It's not jazz. It's jizz. In the Star Wars universe, this music, it's called jizz.
Okay.
You think I'm joking? I'm not. It's established.
The thing is, you're not.
No.
I wish you were.
No. That's what it's called.
Oh, no. Well, that's no good.
Well, that's what it is.
Oh, boys, should we do some jizz tonight? Fucking hell.
My next little thing is that most of the interior shots of the Falcon cockpit are incorrect.
No. I like, you're like, no, they're wrong. I guess they're right until they're wrong.
No, they're incorrect. They're like,
How do you mean?
Because like the interior of the Falcon cockpit doesn't match the exterior, and like
I see. Right, yeah.
The layout of the windows is like basically, you know how like they have like the little lines on the windows sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's the big circle window, and it's got like a little arch over it. Like pull up an image of the Falcon now, you'll see what I'm talking about. And there's like over the window, there's like this like semicircle over the main one, which is separated into 4 parts, and that's how it looks from the outside. But on the interior of the cockpit in A New Hope, that like middle line isn't there, so it's just like 3 parts basically.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so incorrect.
Oversight on their part.
L on George Lucas.
It feels like a quaint cockpit in general, right? I feel like that cockpit gets bigger and bigger with each movie.
No, it's the same.
Does it? Is this?
Yeah.
I feel like in Force Awakens it's fucking like at least twice as big. No.
No, definitely not twice as big.
Well, not all right, but at least bigger.
No, I don't think so. No, it's pretty much consistent.
Oh, fair enough. Whenever I talk about the Millennium Falcon, I always am reminded of that fun anecdote where like Ryan Johnson said in an interview, like he just loved every morning he'd go and have his morning coffee on the Millennium Falcon pilot seat, and he'd sit there and with it, like his first AD would sit in the Chewie seat in the second the co-pilot seat, and they'd just be like, "We're on the Millennium Falcon."
That'd be very cool.
That'd be
I also
cool.
like there's like no logical way for the layout of the Millennium Falcon to make sense. Like everything we've seen of the Millennium Falcon does not match up to how it could possibly like work at all, which is very fun.
We didn't speak about that design at all. That's an incredible ship design.
Incredible ship design, yeah, and like as Solo has just made it better for me because like in the 10 years or whatever that Hannes had this ship, what the fuck has he done to it? Because it was so like pristine and clean when like Lando had it, and it's like all shiny and glossy, and then like it's just this big like hunker junkie.
It's so like when when you first move into a new place and you're like, wow, look at this space and look at this shiny flooring or this nice carpet. Yeah, and then you live there for 6 months and you're like, what have I done?
He's never once hoovered or anything.
No, yeah. Chewie's hair just molting everywhere all seasons.
Yeah.
All right, my final little thing
all right.
is Obi-Wan, and this is a question. This is interactive. Is Obi-Wan a bad haggler, or is there a reason I just didn't pick up on why he's like, Han's like, it'll cost you 10, and he's like, how's 17? Does that work?
Well, they just want to get there, don't they?
Yeah, but he almost doubles the price.
Yeah, but like he doesn't have 10.
I see.
He has. If like he's saying 10, he's like, well, I don't have that, but I can give you 2 now, which we do have once this cunt here sells his speeder.
Yeah,
and then we'll give you the rest.
So it's a bargain. It's like you're inconvenienced, so here's a little bit up front, but with a promise of more. I understand now. Yeah.
Yeah, you idiot.
So he's not a terrible haggler. I still feel like he could have gone 15.
He did go
17's
15.
a big old leap.
Oh yeah, but
yeah. Anyway, have you got anything else to say about Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope?
It's very cool. It's a very good movie. I enjoy it I enjoy it a lot. It ends with a wedding.
It does end with a strange wedding.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was a wedding when I was a kid.
Really?
Genuinely.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so glad these two have reconciled and are in love.
Genuinely. 'Cause it's so,
And Chewie's the best man.
it's so phrased like a wedding. It's so
Yeah, it
wedding
is.
coded, that scene. Like, how can you not think there's a woman in a white dress, there's a
They
big...
walk down the aisle.
They walk down the aisle. There's a big ceremony. Chewbacca roars. Everyone cheers when they have a kiss. Maybe that didn't happen, but there's a big wedding between Han and Luke, and I love that, frankly.
Luke's wearing his Sunday best. He's got his yellow jacket on.
Luke's wearing his best outfit in Star. Well, no, Luke's wearing his second best outfit in Star Wars, and it's a tragedy we never see it again.
What's his first best?
The all black with the Chanel
Oh,
boots.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forget that, yeah. Yeah, Luke's wearing his all best, his second best outfit of the whole era, and then Han Solo's just basically done his top button up. Right?
Yeah.
He's wearing the exact same thing, but he's put his grizzly chest hair away, and that's about it.
I don't like that Han Solo look with the shirt closed. Doesn't look
Yeah.
great.
It does look strange. You want to see?
Yeah.
It's Harrison Ford. Get his little
Yeah.
chest out. Yeah,
Get your chest out, Harrison. Give us
Yeah.
what we want to see.
Come on, mate.
Give the people what they want. Yeah. I still haven't seen Dial of Destiny. I'm thinking at this point I'm just gonna wait until we do it.
Oh, please do wait, because you're close
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. We're the better part of a year away. But
we're like half a year away.
I can see it on the schedule. Yeah, all right, but it must have been about half a year since it came out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so you can wait another this amount of time.
Yeah,
Nathan, do you want to do recommendations?
sure.
Do you want me to do the intro to recommendations slowly for you to think of one?
Well, I want you to do that, and then I want you to do your recommendation.
All right. Well, listen, all this talk of recommendations, Nathan, it is time for me to tell everyone what that is.
Oh, actually, no, I have one. You can go whenever.
Oh, okay, cool. This is the point in the show where we recommend something to each other and to you, our faithful listeners. It could be something we've watched, it could be something we've read, listened to, experienced, or just something we've done in the past week that we are just itching to share with each other and to you. Do you want to go first then? I feel like I've just
Yeah, sure.
screamed at you about filmmaking.
Would you have them? That's fine.
Yeah.
In our last episode, we screamed at each other about filmmaking.
It's true, yeah, for like almost 4 hours.
Yeah, editing that was painful, man. Because
I
like,
bet, yeah.
I just had to listen to you, and I could hear how genuinely pissed off with me you was. But like, you were trying so, because I was so drunk. You wasn't like, I think you was a little bit tipsy, but you wasn't anywhere near as drunk as me.
I know, we were not on the same. I listened back to it as well, and I'm like, I think I did well to stay as composed as I did.
But you was trying so hard to talk about something you're genuinely passionate about and genuinely love, and I'm just like, nah, it's shit.
The thing that stood out to me was the fact that you went on for like 10 minutes about like some unrelated tech stuff that Apple have or do. And then I'm like, so anyway, now to answer this question. And then you were just like, haha, shit. I was like, Nathan, I will fucking kill you.
I think I made good points though.
You did. I feel like we both did, and I think every year it's going to be good for us to get this level of this big cathartic row about filmmaking in general, out of our system, so that we can move forward with it.
And speaking of which, first of all, I will recommend that people follow me on Letterboxd because I'm a big film boy now.
He is.
So you can follow me at Cinema Nathan, which is my film box name. Full disclosure. As a joke, about 6 months ago, I made the film box account purely so I could annoy Lawrence. And it was like satire, and I would just pretend to be like a cunty film boy.
And I sent him a screenshot and saying like, "Is this you?" And he went, "Nope, don't know what you're talking about."
Until just now, really. But now I'm taking it not seriously, but I'm seeing what I still don't understand it. I still don't like it. I don't like anything about it. But you can. I'll occasionally put on a little movie and
Some of my favourite Nathan reviews thus follows. Godzilla King of Monsters, the greatest movie of all time.
yes,
Doctor Who, The Church on Ruby Road. I love Docky Who.
yes,
The Flash, dog shit.
yes.
And of course, it wouldn't be Nathan without After Sun, the biggest pile of wank I've had the displeasure of watching.
I stand by all of that, which because I wrote them like a week ago, so it'd be weird if I didn't.
Yeah, I'm a different person since last week.
Yeah, you're also on there. You're doing like a film a day for some weird reason.
Nathan, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Is watching such exciting movies as Ratatouille. But anyway, my real recommendation this week, and I'm keeping it on topic, Lawrence. I'm actually going to recommend a book, which is Star Wars: A New Hope from a Certain Point of View. Now, this came out for the 40th anniversary of A New Hope, and it's basically the story of Star Wars, but written from like other people's point of view, like in a scene. Like, so it's the movie, but like the opening scene, we'll see the scene from like Captain Anthony's perspective and his little backstory and what he thinks about the Empire coming onto his ship and everything like this. And it's just like a series.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just like a series of short stories all around this kind of stuff.
So it fleshes out what everyone else was up to, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. There's one absolutely heartbreaking one, which I won't like spoil what happens. Well, I can guess, but like there's one set on Alderaan before it's and it's genuinely
just a regular normal day for them.
Yeah, just a regular day, but genuinely an amazing short story. And yeah, so it's a great little book. The book also revealed that Tarkin and TK-421, the trooper who Luke took over, killed and took his armor, were having an affair. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Just took me back to a James quote about Star Wars where it's like, if there is a character in Star Wars, you better believe and bet with your fucking life that someone has fleshed out what they were up to doing stuff.
100%, yeah.
It is true. Oh, God. That makes me laugh. So what was that called again? What was the title of that?
Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. There's 3 of them out, like one for each original trilogy movie. Each of them came out on the 40th anniversary of that movie. So Return of the Jedi like just came out last year. But yeah, it's that's the New Hope version, and maybe you can guess what my next 2 recommendations will be.
Oh no.
We shall see.
Fair enough. My recommendation this week, you already just gave it away, which is why I hushed you. Is basically not anything specific, but I do say in the intro it can be something we've done or experienced. It doesn't have to be something specific. But I have been, and I honestly thought I would have failed it already by now, but I haven't.
I reckon you will fail at some point.
I almost certainly I will.
And when
fail
you do,
at
I'm
some
going to be
point.
there to point and laugh at you.
No, and to publicly humiliate me.
I
yeah.
will publicly shame you.
No,
Here's one thing. All right, finish your thing first of all.
All right. I'll be quick anyway. It's because it's not that interesting. I'm watching a movie every day. It's like a little thing that I'm just assigning to myself, and I'm not being strict about it. It doesn't have to be a new movie every day. It can just be like today. I watched Star Wars, and I was like, I haven't got it in me to watch another movie, so I'm just going to be Star Wars. I've seen some of them before, but I'm also trying to dig through some of my watch list stuff that I haven't seen.
What have you watched so far? What
I can
classic
tell you in
hits have
order.
you seen?
I can tell you in order.
All right, let's see how many of these shit movies I know.
For fuck's sake. Diary. Okay. So from the 1st of January, I watched Cha Cha Real Smooth.
Never heard of it. Sounds like a song.
You have heard about it. Well, it is a song, and also you have heard about it because we've had a conversation about it before.
Lawrence, come on.
Yeah, I know that doesn't mean anything. Number 2 is Priscilla. That was on the 2nd of Jan. Right, as I'm saying them, just count along the dates with me.
Never heard of it.
But you're adults, you can do it. Pretty Woman. I watched Pretty Woman.
I know of Pretty Woman, and I have seen Pretty Woman. It's a very good movie. I enjoyed Julia Roberts. She is very attractive.
It's true. Not a lie spoken. Moonlight. I watched next.
I've seen Moonlight. Barry Jenkins.
Indeed, very very good movie.
Mahershala Ali.
I that was a rewatch, but like the first time I watched Moonlight, I was just like, I didn't get it, and then I never thought about Moonlight again, and I was like,
Yeah.
I need to revisit that, and then I was like, oh no, I'm really sad. Yeah, fucking, I shouldn't have let you have that window. I knew you were going to go there with it, you naughty boy. Ratatouille.
Ratatouille, starring Patton Oswalt as Ratatouille.
Ratatouille himself. And I can say that halfway through the movie, I went, who the fuck is this rat? And I looked it up and I went, no, it's Remy actually, but
Ratatouille.
that's the titular Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Then I watched Arrival, a movie I'd never seen.
You've never seen Arrival?
Never seen Arrival, yeah.
Surely you jest.
No, I'm genuinely not, yeah.
You love Villeneuve.
I know, I do, but like, hang on, how did you pronounce it?
I did that purposefully.
Okay.
I know it's Villeneuve.
Okay. I was like, what? Yeah, but I even said it when I made a little tweet about it. I'm trying to I'm trying to fill out some of my gaps in his stuff because I everything I've ever seen that he's made, I've gone, that's great.
Arrival's great, isn't it?
Arrival is probably my favorite of the lot.
Really
Like,
good, yeah.
Of the ones I've seen so far. Like, it's just, and what I was in love with about Arrival is the way it got me halfway through, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then at the end, I was like in the final 15 minutes, I was just like, it ended, tears streaming down my face, and I was like, was that the greatest movie I've ever seen?
Best Amy Adams performance, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, I reckon so too. Yeah. And best Jeremy Renner being a weird guy.
Yeah, best Hawkeye. Yeah.
And then anyway, what do you follow up Arrival with, Nathan?
Whatever shit movie you watch next, I reckon.
Well, obviously it was Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
No idea what the fuck that is.
It's Paddington for mums, basically.
All right, okay.
Good movie. Had fun with it. Then I watched Jackie, a movie I know you've seen and enjoyed, I think.
Natalie Portman, Jackie Kennedy.
Correct.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, good.
Then yesterday, I should have recommended just this in general. You will love this, I think, genuinely.
Right.
If you ever do watch it, it's an animated movie called Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
All right.
Right. It's just the life and, you know, I guess about a week in the life of this little shell who lives in a house. But it's like, it's shot in a way that it's all real. It's real world elements and like a real house. But then they've just kind of animated this little shell that like goes about and does stuff. Incredible. And I was like, what is this silly movie? It's like an hour and 20 minutes. And then I got like, I guess I was like 20 minutes in and I was just like, oh no, I'm crying again, and this is just a shell. It's just a little shell. This made me cry.
Okay.
And then today I
Sounds
watched
weird.
Star Wars. Anyway, that was supposed to be shorter than it was, but there's the list.
There we go. Sounds
Indeed.
fun.
What was that funny thing you were going to say?
I was going to say, stop doing it on Twitter.
No! I
You
refuse.
get one or the other, all right? You can't have both, all right?
Until I get more followers on Letterboxd, no.
No, because you're doing this thread on Twitter and it's so annoying. I don't like it.
Tough. Mute me. No, I don't think
But
I did say it.
also, how do you? Because Letterboxd has a spoiler feature where you can block it out if there's spoilers, and you have to like tap to reveal. But Twitter doesn't have that, so you're
I'm not
just
spoiling
opening
anything.
You're copying and pasting the exact same thing.
Yeah, but no, I've done. I think I did it a bit differently for some. I'm pretty sure I did it differently for.
Nope, word for word.
No, not every time. I know that it was every word. It was word for word, and then there was one that I didn't do it because it was a bit too much giveaway.
I think you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I remember writing these things.
Oh, I think you're wrong.
No, I won't stop doing them on Twitter because that's where most of my followers are.
All right, well,
And that's what they love. They want that primo content. Anyway, fuck me. This has gone on for a while. Nathan, I don't know about you, but I might
Yes.
do the outro now.
I'd love that.
Perfect. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. If you have enjoyed the show, then please feel free to leave us a little 5-star review. It would be very much appreciated. You can do that on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple, because you can write a little message there, which we'd love to read and just have a little grin to ourselves.
Only Apple.
Yeah, only Apple. You may have guessed this. Oh, we didn't name this series. Is this Star Wars Ueri?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, fuck yeah. You must be tired. I've got him to give in. Next week, we are going to be doing this.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
This is just the next one. This is the next
Yeah,
one of
but-
these.
I love you. I know. There we go.
Very good. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Another Happy Pod. That's where you'll get little post reminders for new episodes every single Friday at 10 a.m. It's also a place where you can suggest topics by using the link in our pinned tweet. We may do them, we may not, no promises. And also, Nathan, I am not sure if you're aware of this, but we have another podcast.
Oh, yes, I'm very aware. It's called still, I don't know what that was. It's called Still Got Legs. It's our Doctor Who rewatch podcast where every week we watch and discuss an episode of Doctor Who. Join us along for this journey. We're coming to the end of Series 4 and having a bloody good time doing so. It's a lot of fun. So if you love Doctor Who, and more importantly, you love two idiots talking about things that don't matter about Doctor Who, then come join us.
Indeed. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
I guess we will. No, we will.
Yeah.
Wahoo, it's not Mario. I didn't say
Oh,
that.
that's
So
right. Yeah, it felt wrong, didn't it?
The vibes were off because
Yeah.
we didn't say it's not Mario. Happy 2024, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome back. And we'll see you next week when the Empire strikes back.
Oh, very good. Very nice.
Anyway.